Batter to a pulp. I'm more of a batter to a some pulp guy. Fresh and buds now.
Fresh and
All right, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh and Buds. I'm your host, Tommy Fresh, and you are all my buds. And today I am happy to welcome Enki, aka Papapula, and I think my first French guest. I'm very excited. How you doing, Enki? Welcome to the show.
Hey, nice to meet you, and thank you so much for having me. Maybe you invited Arthur before? I don't know. Maybe I missed.
No, I would love to have Arthur on the show, but I have not been able to, maybe I just don't know how to reach Arthur. But I'll figure it out eventually and hopefully get Arthur on the show. Maybe everybody from France will get on the show at some point. And
Let's go. I hope so.
But how are you doing today? You said it's a little hot over there.
Yeah, definitely super hot, so I'm a bit drowsy, I guess. Still fine, but I can't wait to go to Copenhagen. I hope it will be a little bit cooler there.
Yeah.
So we can enjoy a cooler summer, but it's super hot here in Montpellier. I live in the south of France, so yeah, it's getting super hot.
Yeah.
But other than that, doing well. Pretty happy with the Flesh and Blood lately.
Yeah. Things have been going well, and I'm hoping this weekend for you as well in Copenhagen because we're getting just a nice flurry of tournaments happening, here in the wake of Pro Tour Singapore, which you had a great finish, and we will talk about that. But I do want to eventually talk a little bit about Gravy because there's some discourse around that hero, no doubt, right now. And
Of course.
But before we get to that, I do want to get to know you a little bit better and then get your favorite cards in the game, and then we'll get to that. But you are becoming quite the prevalent player on the world stage in the past 2 years, especially with your Battle Hardened win, your Pro Tour runner-up finish, your Nats performances. It's all pretty impressive in 2 years. It's very cool to see, but I want to know, where did it all begin? When did TCGs enter your life? I see a different TCG card right behind you on screen for the YouTube listeners.
Well, first of all, thanks for the shout out. I really appreciate. So I started playing TCGs pretty young. My mother showed me Magic the Gathering when I was young, and we just played together on the kitchen table for quite some time. I really got into Magic because that was the TCG I knew best. When I was a little kid, I used to collect Pokemon cards and play a little bit with my parents. And growing up, I tried Yu-Gi-Oh when I was in school, but never really took it very seriously. I was still super young, and that was really Magic that clicked with me when I was in high school and in the uni. So that was when I started to play very regularly, doing the Friday Night Magics for the ones who know that. That's basically the Armory, but it's on the Friday night, so it's called Friday Night Magic.
Yeah.
And on Magic, I was really enjoying Limited. That was really my favorite format. Draft, the drafts in Magic in the recent years, like 10 last years were super good. But it's crazy good. I really encourage you to try them if you never did, because it's really it's a really an excellent format every time. They nail it like almost every time now in the recent years. So yeah, it's super cool. I was less a fan of the constructed, but still played a little bit. And yeah, so I used to play regularly from like for 5 years, I think, and I got tired because of various reasons,
Mm-hmm.
mainly the product fatigue and sets releasing way too often for my liking, and I couldn't follow up, even if my favorite formats were limited. So I just dropped, especially when the COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there were no Friday Night Magic, there was no paper play, and I quite never liked the online TCGs that much, because I miss the social part of the
Yeah.
TCGs that I love so much. And so a year after I stopped playing Magic, a friend of mine that I met in Magic just came to my house and told me, I have something to show you that might interest you a little bit. And so he brought the Livaya and Boltin Precons from Monarch. And we played a couple games. And at the end of the afternoon, I was like, okay, where do I buy something? I want to play this game. It's crazy good. I've never seen something like that. It's so different from Magic. I love it. I love the system. I love everything. So yeah, I was hooked on the first on my first try. I was super hooked, and so my first event in Flesh and Blood was the Dynasty pre-release.
Okay.
So I started playing in Dynasty,
Awesome.
and from
Awesome.
there, just got to play as often as I could. And yeah, the community was really the thing that hooked me up. Also, the game system is obviously super cool and is a great skill explosive game system that got me into the competition, but the community is what made me really want to stick with it, because the people are so nice in the Flesh and Blood. And even in tournaments, in the bigger tournaments like the Pro Tour, even the people are just chill. They're playing the game. They're playing fair. It just feels so good to play in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. And I mean, honestly, just to take a step back, at the beginning of your TCG journey, being able to play with your like mom, right, at the kitchen table, that's pretty unique, right? I've heard a few people, over 210 episodes I've been interviewing people sometimes play with their parents, but that's such a special thing. I think it actually kind of encourages a little bit of a healthy relationship with a game and a trading card game. I mean, I wish that I got to play with my parents. I don't think they ever would have, but that's not what they were into. But that's so cool. How do you think that kind of shaped your relationship with card games going forward?
Mm, I don't know. Since I knew them from so young, I always happy to play a card game, even if it's just casual and chill. And I think the crack shuffle and play format is really good for that. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it just brings a special vibes. It's pretty chill. I like it. Like it's just a nice board game to play when you're only two persons.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
quite don't like the multiplayer formats in the TCGs I tried. I didn't like the Commander multiplayer in Magic. I quite don't like the UPF in Flesh and Blood. I think there are better board games that do things for 4 player or more better than this. But for the two player games, these are just so good to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Definitely. And I got to play some of that crack shuffle play over the weekend. Oh my god, it was so much fun.
yeah.
Just it's a good vibe. Now, you say you got in, and your first event was Dynasty pre-release, right? And then we talked about some other big events you played, but Dynasty, golly, I gotta think back. What is that? 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Almost 3 years now, like 2.5,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, almost
Yeah,
3 years.
yeah. So, that was your introduction to the fab scene in general, but also the French fab scene.
Yeah.
And how is the French fab scene and how has it evolved over the past few years?
Well, you still see the same good old faces that there were 2.5 years ago. I think the French fab scene is really great. Like, the people are super welcoming, are super nice. There are basically no people that you might suspect of cheating or anything, which really surprised me, because in Magic there is a bit more of a sharky
Mm-hmm.
culture, a bit more of a very get some edge at all costs culture. Not all the time, obviously, but it's much more prevalent than in Flesh and Blood, which I experienced like maybe less than 5 times in all the tournaments I've played in Flesh and Blood. Meanwhile, in Magic, when you went to a tournament, you kind of expected to meet that kind of behavior at some point.
Yeah.
Especially when the stakes were getting bigger and bigger. Even though I didn't play it for big tournaments in Magic as big as I do for Flesh and Blood. So yeah, the community is just so cool, and we basically almost all know each other now. So it's super cool to have friends all over the country, you know. And the country is not that big, so you can get to Paris, for example. I live in south of France, so it's pretty far, but it's like a 3 hours train ride, so it's perfectly fine to go there for the weekend and play for the Nats and stuff like that. So it's great. It's just great. I love the French community, and a big shout out to everyone that will listen to this podcast.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, it's impressive, and over the past couple years, we see more French players at like the top tables, right? And
Yeah.
I'm sure you're all very proud of that. And I've seen you call it the French invasion. Is the French invasion happening? There's a lot of great players in that country, and listen, I mean, there's something in the water. What's going on? Are we going to expect anything big coming up, especially at some of the bigger tournaments like Worlds?
I hope so, because we've been like practicing and training together for like a year and a half now. Before we were a bit fragmented, but now we have kind of a big Discord where we put all the more engaged French players, and we just play together whenever we can. And I think that's the strongest point we get. It's that we are like 50 people training together, which make for a great emulation and sample size, and we have specialists for every hero available, and we are all super friendly, so it's super great, because when we all meet together, we all go to the bars or to the restaurants after the nationals, and we do the biggest tables possible we can find. So it's super cool, and yeah, it's super awesome to see this payoff. Now we had like 3 people in the top 8 in Singapore. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because before that, in the big international events, only Arthur did place in the top 8. We had Etienne Barioulet placing in Pro Tour Amsterdam. I think he ended up 12th. And we had some great placements, but not as crazy as in Singapore, where we took almost half the top 8.
Yeah, it was a big coming out party. 3 of you in the top 8. Now, would you say that the meta might have played to all of your strengths, and that's why we saw a big, French presence in the top 8? I mean, you looking at it now, so it was you, Arthur, and Tom, and Slippy and Gravy being the heroes being played by the 3 of you, Arthur and yourself on Gravy, and then Tom on Arachne. So these are heroes that really. I mean, obviously Gravy was relatively new, but Slippy wasn't top of the meta, right? Until like the high seas meta. So these are some new heroes. Would you say between the 3 of you, there was some specialist things going on? Because we know Arthur obviously had a history with Dromai, right, and other allied heroes. But what about yourself?
I'm not I don't enjoy that much the heroes that play with the board and that summon allies or auras or illusionists for short, and now necromancers. I'm kind of a flesh and boring lover, I was enjoying the heavy hitters meta like crazy. I loved playing the Hatchets, KO, Guardians, Runeblades 2, which is a bit more spicy. But I'm just a vanilla flesh and blood enjoyer. I love when the games are just fundamentals, good maths, pitch stacking a bit, planning your having a good game plan into everything and stuff like that. But as we figured out, and as the world has figured out now, Gravy is pretty much the strongest hero in the game. And for the Pro Tours and the callings, I still have to play a good hero. And I hesitated on bringing Kasai, but he was a bit too fair for this meta. And I think the Gravy matchup is not great at the moment. Maybe with the new expansion slot, we have a good shot. I hope so. Because, yeah, I love Warriors. So I really hope Kasai gets good now. Or she's already good, but she gets a shot into Gravy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had Arthur and Evan that were super into Gravy in our practice group. So yeah, we got onto the Gravy train pretty early. We all played the deck at our Nats, which were like 3 weeks before Singapore, something like that. And Arthur won the Nats. Evan made it to top 8, and I made it to top 12.
Pretty good.
So I got my qualification for Worlds with it, so I'm pretty happy. So yeah, we were already super high on Gravy, and yeah, Arthur being the board state specialist that he is, and Evan being a super strong player in the French scene, he won a calling Taipei in limited with Gravy.
Yeah.
Also. So yeah, he was super hooked on Gravy right away, and he loved the hero and the zombies and the skeletons and the stuff like that. So he was super hooked on the hero even before we figured he was so strong. But yeah, for the Pro Tour, I'm kind of a jack of all trades in terms of deck selection. I like pretty much every game plan, be it aggro, setup, everything. I just love the game anyway, so I'm just having fun whatever I'm playing. But yeah, that's basically our story.
Well, that's I mean that's cool, right? To love the game so much that, well, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna have fun no matter what with whatever hero. And listen, Gravy is certainly a lot of fun, and we're gonna talk about whether something needs to be done about this hero, because it can be a little unfair. It's not heavy hitters meta, right? Like you mentioned. I mean, that is the best meta of all time. I think maybe I would agree. But
I think so.
Yeah, it was so much fun. But yeah, it's still a really fun deck, and like arguably I would say the most fun board state deck I've ever even like remotely played. So yeah, we'll see what we need to do with it. But I gotta know some of your fresh faves, Enki, because we gotta know first.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite hero in the game of Flesh and Blood?
Boltyn.
Ooh.
Definitely Boltyn, yeah. I love Warrior, I love Runeblade, and Boltyn is just a fusion of both classes, so I just love him so much. He's my fave hero. I've got my I brought my Lumina Ascension playmat to Proto Singapore, which is the playmat I always use to every big event, because I love the card and the hero so much. I have a big Boltyn banner that I found on Vinted the other day that I need to hang somewhere.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm pretty much a big fan of Lightning Warrior aesthetics and Boltyn.
Boltyn's awesome, and I mean, Ellie Bird said she was gonna spoil a Boltyn card in a few weeks. I mean, listen, I'm a Riptide lover. We get a lot of cards, and it never seems to really tick the needle, and it feels like Boltyn sometimes suffers from that a little bit as well. But I'm hoping for the Boltyn fans out there that's going to be a big one. Now, what's your favorite weapon?
If I say Raiden, you'll be pretty mad.
No. I love
Raiden for sure, but favorite weapon? There are so many now. I really love Ripping Blade, but it's pretty vanilla. I'm a vanilla enjoyer. Who doesn't love a good tunic into Ripping Blade?
Yeah, it's classic.
Free damage. Yeah, classic, and yeah, free damage is so good. Favorite weapon? Oh, Dawnblade for sure.
Oh, okay.
obviously.
Yeah,
Dawnblade
very
is
nice.
just so fun by itself. It's an interactive weapon.
Yeah,
I think that's a great design.
it's an awesome weapon. Good, good answer. Warrior fan, no doubt. What's your
Yeah.
favorite equipment?
Ooh, favorite equipment. Um. Oh, yeah. Probably Spellbound Creepers. Just so
Oh,
good.
yeah,
Sometimes it's just an iron rods, but sometimes it's just double snapdragons plus iron rods plus everything you want in the world. I
yeah,
love it so much.
yeah. That card. I remember playing some Viscerai when that card came out, and it broke my brain. I was like, I'm going back to Brute. I'm just like, I'm not smart enough for this card. I'm glad other people are enjoying it though. Now, what's your favorite card
I
to
love
throw?
Scabskins too. I
Scabskins?
love Scabskins, yeah.
Yeah, why
Great
not?
card.
That one required, I mean, it requires some thinking, but listen, let's let the dice do the thinking for us, you
Some
know?
thinking and some guts sometimes, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's really great.
Yes,
It's
it
a fun
sure
design.
is. Now, what's your favorite card to throw into your deck? Attack actions, non attack actions, D reacts, etc.
Mm, uh, well, my favorite card in the game is Lumina Ascension, but that's no surprise coming from a Boltin fan. But I think in general, I think I prefer the attack actions. Like a good old attack action with some funny text is the best.
Which is your favorite?
Um, mm, favorite attack action. Oh, I really love how is it called? Celestial Cataclysm. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's a great payoff. It's a super fun build around. So yeah, you get paid off for the hard work you did during the game. So great design. I also love Felling of the Crown, which is much more on the nose,
Yeah, yeah,
but I
yeah.
love the artwork. The artwork is just so beautiful in Felling.
Oh, it really is. And Celestial Cataclysm is like one of those cards you can forget about when you're playing against light heroes, mostly Bolton, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, what can they possibly do with a Raiden and like two cards in hand? It can't be that much. And then all of a sudden the seven go again. You're like, oh, that one.
I lost to Prism due to a Cataclysm in the Proto Singapore.
Oh, wow. In Prism. Oh man, I guess
Yeah.
you can mess around with that card a little bit. Now in the world of Wraith, I want to know what class and talent would you like to be?
Oh, um, I'd love to have maybe a light rune blade,
Okay.
something like that. I
Light
love the
rune.
light talent because it's you have an energy bar like in the fighting games. You have a super an ultimate bar that you charge during the game, and at some point you play like a celestial cataclysm or some super big payoff that rewards you for charging your bar during the game. So it feels a lot like a classic fighting game like Street Fighters or Guilty Gear. And I love those.
That makes sense. And golly, if we got a light themed rune chant, I think people would lose their minds,
Yeah.
That would be pretty neat. And I got to ask, in your estimation, Enki, what is the greatest set of all time so far?
Ooh.
By whatever metric
Um,
you want. It could be
yeah.
constructed, limited, vibes.
Mm, I don't know if I can pin out one greatest set. Maybe just Welcome to Race because it's the first one. It's the one that started everything. The
Sure.
one that defined the metrics of the game for the 5 years it's been out now, something like that.
Almost six,
And
I
it's still
think.
a
Yeah.
classic. And some of the cards are still played today, which is crazy to me. It's just so cool. But for my fave limited set, it was Part de Miss Veil. But I hated the constructed part because
Yeah.
of everything that happened with Part de Miss Veil. And for the constructed part, I think Rosetta did great, but I hated the limited. So
Okay.
you gotta, yeah, you gotta find out what you like in all the sets.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I thought surprised you didn't say heavy hitters for constructed.
Um, I think the meta was great, but the cards in heavy hitters were pretty average.
Yeah.
And for example, the Guardian cards, I think you only play the clashes in Victor, but nothing just stood out to the old ones. So it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of disappointing on that part. The Warrior cards were okay, but there were so many misses in the heavy hitters, like the wager cards that nobody plays and stuff like that, and it's a bit disappointing. But the meta was great for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, listen, I'm playing some wager cards and like the generic wager cards in Scurv in Commoner.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a whole nother bag of hammers. But let's talk about gravy though. The gravy train. This hero's cool, right? There's no doubt this hero is. I think it brought a lot of players to the game, right? Cool
Yeah.
aesthetically, skeletons, like this, like demonic, spooky pirate, very cool. Kind of a flavor win all around. Awesome in limited too. It was really fun to play in that set.
Yeah.
But now we're getting to the point, right? Set's been out for a couple months and Gravy is still at the top of the meta. It's sharing the top of the meta. I would say it's not the de facto best deck, right? There's a couple other good decks out there, but yeah. It's debatable, but you piloted Gravy to a second place finish at the Pro Tour, which is
Yeah. Crazy.
the best you could
Just
do
crazy.
outside of winning, right? That's like the best thing you could have done. And it was against, guess what? Another Gravy. And we just saw another mirror match in the finals of Kansas City Calling over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Is the deck that good?
Definitely. It's the best deck in the format to me. Like, I did a tier list for my a joke tier list with my friends the other day, and I just put Gravy super far ahead with just himself in his tier, and after that there were other decks you can play, but you won't be as good as Gravy in the next year. So yeah, I think Gravy is quite ahead of the format by all the metrics. Like in Kansas City, we still had 3 Gravies in the top 8, with 2 in the finals in the end. And I think people expected the deck to be there. Like everybody is hard taking for Gravy, in my understanding, and it doesn't seem to stop the deck. On the other hand, we saw 0 Sleepy, and the Sleepy did pretty poorly in the calling Kansas City compared to the numbers of Sleepy that were coming to the event. And I think that you can pretty much take pretty well into Sleepy, and he's a fair deck that has great strengths, but also weaknesses that you can exploit, and you can learn his play patterns and stuff like that to get better equity in the matchup. But on the other hand, I think Gravy, even if you tech for the matchup, you still have such an uphill battle if you don't play the deck. That's kind of hard to justify playing another deck in the current meta, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting. Yeah, Slippy's kind of, has this thing that assassins have, and I think some warriors have, especially like Dorinthia, where the longer these heroes exist, they are going to like have these play patterns that become pretty like easy to read, right? It's not super face up, but it's going to become face up for people that are prepared for it. So, I think Slippy, sure, is going to get an armory deck apparently in the end of the year. Don't know if Slippy needs it, but I don't know how much that will change because we are very used to that deck now. But we're all also used to Gravy because we see a lot of it, right? You see it at Armory, you see it at these bigger events. You're playing on Talishar, you're going to run into Gravy Bones, right? There's no doubt about it. And I think that the issue that seems to be the problem with Gravy is that the high rolls, right? It can just really like have these super explosive turns out of nowhere, specifically with swell, that you can just generate all these resources all like out of nowhere. And if you had a lot of gold to begin with, you can just start refilling your hand, and all of a sudden you're gonna do all of it again, and then you send a conqueror of the high seas or whatever, and then after that you still have a board state with these allies.
Yeah.
What can be done like with a ban to like stop this? Is swell the answer?
Uh, I think swell would be a good starting point. Maybe also Baccarat Breakline, because it creates some crazy turns out of nowhere for
Mm-hmm.
no reason. You know, when you hit a Baccarat Breakline from a swell, you know that you're going to do some crazy stuff if you have a bit of gold, and things are going to degenerate super quickly. So yeah, I think the easy target is Saltwater Swell if you don't want to impact the other pirates, because Puffin and Marlin are still decks that I think are super cool to play, even though they are not that great in the meta at the moment, or they are missing a few pieces to be really good, but they are super cool to play
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless. And it would be sad to nerf them for no reason. And I don't think most lists run Saltwater Swell. It's more of a gravy card, so it's an easy target. Because if you take down Golden Tipple, you're just killing Gravy and you're super nerfing the other pirates. So I think you cannot really ban Golden Tipple at the moment,
Yeah.
unless you just want Gravy to be a super bad deck,
Yeah.
because the card is so important for the deck to just run decently or smoothly, that if you take it down, you're never going to see any Gravy doing well in any event in the near future.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably swell. They could ban one ally, maybe Rigor Mortis, which is super efficient
Mm-hmm.
and often is super hard to handle well for decks other than ninjas, because no decks has access to an easy one damage on rate, because even assassins, if they have to spend 2 resource in a dagger, it's already a bad deal to clean Rigor Mortis. So maybe they can hit Rigor Mortis to force the Gravies to play either more Enkas, or maybe, I don't know, a Cutty Shark or something like that, a lesser ally, which could be a good ban target. They could also choose to ban Call to the Grave for the consistency it brings and the redundancy. The games can be pretty redundant if you play a deck that has problems into Chum. The Gravy is always going to get a Chum with the Call to the Grave, so the games can be pretty redundant if you play, for example, a Ranger or a deck that is non-attack action based,
Mm-hmm.
that has pumps or things like that, like Mario, for example. If you play the dagger heavy version with all the dagger pumps, the Gravy is always going to bring a Chum every time he can. So it can be, yeah, pretty redundant in the gameplay, which is a bit sad. So yeah, there are many targets they could choose to ban if they want to tune down the deck. But I think, yeah, Swell is the one with the biggest chance of getting banned, in my opinion. But I'm no developer. Maybe they have other plans. Maybe they want just to nerf the allies, or maybe they think Gravy is fine and that Super Slam will bring the correct answers to many decks to just compete with Gravy, perhaps.
Maybe, it will be interesting. I mean, I definitely agree that the swell is probably the easiest target there. I don't, and I also agree. Golden Tipple, right? It's like 9 copies, right? Yeah, you just like totally got that deck. I can't personally see them hitting any of the allies because I just feel like I don't know. There is something cool about having the allies, and then there's marvels of that as well, and that changes. That is an outside factor, but I think saltwater swell would be the target now. here's the actual big question: do you think they will do anything, or are they saying it's fine? Tough Nut's just gonna beat them all the time, or something like that.
Let's
What's
go.
going on?
I hope they do nerf him a bit because, I quite don't like playing against him because I think the board state heroes bring some very obnoxious things into many matchups. Like if you play a Guardian or a Florian even or Verdance, you're super far behind just by sitting against a Gravy, which I don't appreciate much. I don't know if they will do anything. As said, maybe in Super Slam there are super good answers to board states and allies and things like that, and they think we can just wait a couple more weeks. I don't know when Super Slam releases, but yeah, in about a month and a
Yeah.
few weeks.
The Montreal's in about a month, so just 5 weeks probably.
Yeah, I'll be in Montreal, by the way. I
Oh,
hope.
so will I. We'll have to say hi to each other.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I hope so too. I don't even actually know when the next band announcement, but it's usually right before the release of a set. But we will see. Now, in your estimation, do you think there's any potential decks that really counter Gravy that aren't being explored because perhaps maybe have poor game into Verdance or poor game into Slippy? Is there something like, let's say, if you expected all Gravy, right, at the tournament, and you're like, I'm gonna just play the counter deck, what would you pick up?
I think Gravy's worst matchup is Oscilio, actually.
Okay.
It's the hero that has the most tools to just annoy you a lot, especially the shocks that can just ping your rigor mortis or your limpets if you play limpets. He can even pump the shocks with Volzar, so sometimes your 3 life allies aren't safe either. So you have very efficient clearing for the allies. You also can run fries and some nice go against just to clear during your turn. And yeah, Osilio just has all the tools he needs to answer the board very efficiently and pressure your life total. Since Gravy doesn't have that much disruption, you can get comboed super early and just get high rolled and blasted off the blasted off your whole HP bar in one good gun in a flash turn. So yeah, the big problem with Osilio is the consistency of the deck, which makes him either super hard to play. We had 2 Osilios in the calling Kansas City top 8, I think.
Yeah, we did. I think.
So maybe the deck has a bit more legs than people are willing to to give him. But yeah, I think it's the best counter to Gravy.
And yeah, it certainly looked like the Achilles were out and ready to play this past weekend. So we'll see how they kind of explore other tournaments. Maybe Copenhagen will be another big tournament for them, and we will see. There's the amount of damage that Acilio can do is pretty crazy, right? I think in the top 8 there was like a 46 damage turn or something like that, or something crazy. Somebody did the math and I didn't check it because I believe everybody. Yeah, it sounds right. I've played Acilio before. Sounds like a lot of damage, but it'll be interesting. Gravy, some final thoughts there. Best deck in the format, easily.
Yeah, easily. To me, easily the best deck in the format. You have so many free matchups because in a tournament, not everyone is going to bring the top meta deck all the time. So you have super free matchups into many heroes, and among the best position heroes, you also have some great matchups, and you have some game into everyone, which is a big part of the Gravy's success, in my opinion. Because even into Syndras and Iras, you still have game. It's not a 0% matchup. It's like 35-40%, so it's pretty okay. And even into Osilio, in the Pro Tour, I played against Kaiser Wong that was playing Ocilio.
Okay.
And it just happened to have the biggest high roll of all time I've ever had on Gravy, and the game was just a massacre.
Yeah.
Was,
Well, yeah, Acilio,
so
if
yeah,
they don't get the time to do their thing, it's hard because you get in a point where you're like, well, none of my cards block, so I just have to.
yeah, and I
I have to
had
figure it out.
disruption like almost every turn, and just
Oh,
things lined up so well for me. It was
wow.
crazy. So yeah, the Gravy can also high roll the bad matchups to an impossible to face extent. So pretty
Yeah.
good hero.
Pretty good hero.
I hope I nerfed him a bit.
Yeah, I hope so too. But before we get to some listener questions, which we have a couple, do you have any Super Slam predictions or hot takes? I saw you were. I saw on Blue Sky that you weren't super happy with the Verdant's expansion slot.
Yeah, I think they are really pushing the design of the expansion slots. All the cards we saw. Well, the Olympia expansion slot is a bit of a meme in my opinion, but it's super fun to me. I love
Yeah.
I love it. But that will not make Olympia good, obviously.
No.
That's not enough, but it's a nice
fun.
little, yeah, it's very fun. I like it. But I think, yeah, they are pushing the power of the cards. The cards are really powerful, but also the design space, like the bait card for Riptide is kind of crazy. I don't know
Awesome.
if the card is good. I kind of don't think so for now. It
Oh,
looks,
Enki, I'm cooking. Don't worry about it. The chef's in the kitchen. That
yeah.
card, the bait will be taken. I swear. it's
I hope
you
the
know what?
Riptide, yeah.
There's just so many possibilities, right? That you can put anything on top. So I do like that. It's probably not that great, but it is very, very cool. So I got to be a little
It's
excited.
it's good with Sunscour and Murky Water, because you
Sure.
can tutor for Murky Water and send it with Dominate with Sunscour without your opponent being able to play any D-Reacts or Instance or anything. So they have to eat the Murky Water, which is pretty good, even if you give them a free 1 damage attack, which is okay.
Well,
And if you draw a trap that triggers on the bait, good for you. And you have the Murky Water to get the trap. So if everything goes well, you're into a great position. But apart from that play, I don't know if there are other great lines to get from this bait.
listen, I'll let you know off stream here because I got some. I don't want to spoil it yet,
That's good.
but no, I'm just gonna be doing really bad stuff with that card, like weird stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, weird, for sure.
yeah, we'll see. Last week we talked a lot about expansion slots, and it's looking like there's just going to be a ton of them, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I hope to see a good one from Bolton for you, for sure. And then also maybe some Leviah love out there because I think that, since Art of War got banned, I think, Leviah's had success here and there, won a tournament not too long ago, maybe a Nats somewhere,
Oh,
but
yeah, maybe.
but it's still missing a little bit, right? We can't really play the weird. Oh man, I'm blanking on the name. The 1-for-6 that if it was banished
The Shadow
from
Pit,
hand, yeah, the Shadowpede.
Yeah.
So something like that. Anyway, we do have listener questions, Enki, and these come from the Buds Discord, which is free for anybody to join. It's in the show notes below. First one comes from Dead Summer Art, our friend Kale, who asks, how do you feel about the current localization of cards into French? Has LSS done a good job translating? Do you prefer your cards in French or English?
I do prefer my cards in English, mainly because when I started, there were not every card was localized. So it was when Dynasty released, we had History Pack 1, but not History Pack 2. So there were many sets that weren't translated. And in the beginning, the translation of the cards was pretty poorly done, in my opinion.
Okay.
So yeah, the localization was not great. Today it's much better. Still, I tend to like the English ones more because I think the puns and the the word choice are just better in my opinion. So yeah,
Yeah, probably
more of
especially
an
when it
English fan.
came to Gravy Bones, like there's a lot of like I don't know specific kind of puns there.
Oh,
Thanks for the.
they translated the ally's name pretty well.
Okay, did they?
Yeah,
All
yeah, they
right.
did. Like the best one is chowder, which in French is named bouillabaisse, which is a fish soup.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's a
Oh,
great
that's
translation
awesome.
on this one.
Next question comes from Sigma, who has two questions actually. First, you didn't seem to be on a team. Do you have one now, or are you being scouted by any?
Um, so um, we don't have a official team with a. We have a local team at my local game store in Montpellier. We have a local team. I forgot my jersey for the Pro Tour.
Oh no.
So, but it's just our local team that we just do for funsies. We don't have a sponsor or anything like that. We have the French training Discord, which is kind of our real practice team for big events, for international events. But for now, I don't have an official team with sponsors and such. But there is something cooking. I can't talk too much about it for now,
Okay.
but we are working on it with Arthur and the top French players.
That's very exciting. I like the sound of that. He also asks, how much and how did you test going into the Pro Tour? Did you test the mirror a lot?
Definitely not enough. Um, because in the final days, Arthur and Evan were with the team, the Armory.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have my gravy, my gravy partners to test with a lot. So in the mirror, I was kind of vibing in the Pro Tour.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, we tested a lot beforehand, especially since we did a little boot camp for the nationals. So we rented a nice house near Paris, and we were 8 friends that tested a lot for the nationals. So it was great, especially for the draft portion. I think we did a really great job figuring out the format altogether. So that was, I think, the main takeaway from this bootcamp. And we figured that Gravy would be the best deck for our Nats, and Arthur won the Nats, so kind of ended up well. And we were on the same train for Singapore. We didn't have a bootcamp this time, but we trained online on Discord with the friends. And yeah, we played a lot. I think my best advice for people who want to get good at the game is just find people you love to play with, and the magic will happen. Just play with your friends, play with the community. We have a super welcoming and nice community, so and pretty accessible. You can DM almost anyone in the community, and I think they will be super happy to play with you, even the top players. So just send the messages.
Yeah. Listen, yeah, that's the biggest thing because also it's like I love just that's like a great message because I just like fresh buds, hanging with your buds, playing games with your buds. That's what it's all about, right? That's why we do it, and like you can get better too, which is awesome. Thank you for that answer, and thank you for that question, Sigma. Next comes from Capolo, who asks two questions for when you prepare for a big tournament and for your deck selection. How do you personally choose which hero to bring, and how much of it is innovation versus tuning the deck list?
Okay, so to choose the hero, we often pick if it's a really big tournament. If it's a pro quest, I just pick my favorite hero of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
If there were pro quests right now, I think I would go with probably Kasai or um, maybe Florian, maybe Sleepy. I like Sleepy a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun to play. For the Pro Tours and the callings, I tried to play the heroes that seem to do best. For Singapore, it was pretty clear on our side that Gravy would be the best deck, at least from our testings. And Sleepy was a great choice also. So yeah, we were pretty sure, but there are some metas where it's pretty much harder to figure out, or you have just to pick what you're more at ease with.
Okay.
Sometimes, in I think in the world's Osaka, you had a lot of heroes that you could bring that were pretty good, like Aurora, Viserai, Deshayo, Enigma, Nu. You had a lot of choices, so you just pick what you like the most. In Singapore, I think Gravy was the best deck by a fair margin. So picking something else would really imply that you really don't want to play Gravy, or you're really not at ease with the deck. To be fair, I kinda hesitated last minute because I was feeling unprepared on Gravy.
Okay.
So sometimes feeling unprepared is enough to get far. So it
Well,
depends. It really depends on the field and the meta.
well, maybe like
And
that
yeah,
unpreparedness. You're just like you get in your head a little bit, so you feel like you have to lock in even more. Like maybe I got to focus a little bit extra because I don't have the reps, and all of a sudden that pays off in dividends. That could be some. That's a wild theory, but it worked out for you.
yeah. I think on the day 2 of the Pro Tour, I was super locked in my CC games. Like I felt super concentrated, super calm, and really parsing everything super well. On the day 1, I had some really good pairings in the early rounds. So yeah, I faced 2 Earth Heroes, 1 Jarl, 1 Florian, which were very positive matchups. So I was pretty lucky on that part. Then I played into Kaiser on Ocilio, and I got the craziest high roll I ever had. So the game won itself, basically. And then I played into Vespa on Prism, who beat me with the Celestial Cataclysm I really didn't expect.
Oh,
Otherwise, I would certainly have popped that Herald. I had a Conqueror in hand. I was like, okay, it's a double Herald. I can handle this. And he swing with the Herald. I went, okay, no blocks. I will send you the Conqueror. I'll just kill you on the next turn. And then Celestial Cataclysm from the arsenal. I'm like, oh, that's a bit too many damage. I didn't expect that at all. So yeah, great play, great sideboard take, I think, from him into the Gravy matchup, because the heralds will hit the allies, so you will have a lot of soul in this matchup.
yeah, no
So I
doubt.
think it was super smart from him to run the card back in the deck. And the last round, I got paired into Syndra, and I just drew some bricks, so I was on 3-2 on the CC. And yeah, the draft went pretty well. I got to 3-0 with Gravy. And yeah, the on the day 2, I was super locked in, and I really tried to play my best because I had a pretty nice start. So I really wanted to. I came to the Pro Tour wanting to cash in because in London, I got to Pro Tour London, and on the day 1, I was 7-1 at the end of day 1. I was super stoked.
Yeah.
5-0 in CC, 2-1 in draft. I was crazy happy, and the day 2 was a disaster.
Oh
So
no.
I ended up 17th, so no cash prize after that 7-1
Oh.
run, playing twice on the feature table, on the draft feature table. So it was pretty devastating. So this time I was like, okay, if you get to day 2, you don't mess up. You just
Yeah.
play the best you've ever played, and you get there, at least to the cash prize.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think you did it. You think you got there. Now, Capola's second question was,
Second question. Yeah.
yeah, how much of your deck choice will involve innovation, or are you just tuning the deck list?
It's a bit of both, it's kind of hard to tell from scratch here. We had a good base of gravy decklist from our nats and from the calling Bologna. There was calling Bologna a few weeks before Singapore, so we had the innovations from Brody Spurlock and a few other top players from that came to Bologna. And we thought those innovations were super good and super strong because I got absolutely trounced by Brody with my Kasai.
Oh no.
So yeah, I was like, he has something. The other gravies are not that hard to beat. And I got really, really just walked over. Like I didn't play the whole game. So I was like, okay, maybe Kasai is not the best pick, and maybe he has something on his gravy. So yeah, we tuned from his deck list. Basically, we just tested it a bit more just to make sure it was not just a random high roll, and the results were good. So we were like, okay, time to fine tune this and make this the monster we hope it will be in the Pro Tour.
It certainly was. It certainly was. Enki, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you, everybody, for asking listener questions. Can you please plug anything you'd like to plug? Like where people can find you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So you can find me on Blue Sky, Discord, or now MetaFi. I open my MetaFi if you want some coaching sessions. Everything is named Enki Papa Pool, which is my Discord handle. So you can find me anywhere. I'm on the Purple Discord if you want. I'm not that active on the Purple Discord because I'm more active on the French on the French server and the French community. I create content with my friends at Findal Cafe. We have a Twitch channel, which is our main channel, and we upload the replays on YouTube. So it's just Findal Cafe. It's in French, but on YouTube, I think the automatic subtitles are quite decent, even for some flesh and blood terms and stuff. So if you're curious about our content, it would be super cool if you checked it out. And that's basically it. If you see me at an event, you can always come and say hi. I'm super happy to say hi to everyone. As said, I love the community, so let's meet.
Awesome. You all can continue to find me on Blue Sky at freshbudspod. Check out the YouTube if you are listening audio. Give us the old like, comment, subscribe over there. The Buds Discord. All of this is in the show notes below. My other podcast, Fresh Juice. I think we're going to take a couple of weeks off because my co-host just had a baby. So, got to give him some time off. But eventually, I'm just going to... All right, father time's over. No, we'll see how long that break's going to be. But at the end of every show, Enki, I like to talk about food. Some would say France is the food capital of the world. I don't know if it is. Listen, I don't want to, upset anybody who might think that their place is the food capital of the world. But, what's some food that you'd like to talk about and feature right now at the end of this show?
I wasn't expecting that. I really love Italian food, to be fair. I love French food also. But if you come to France, if there's a big event, maybe in Paris, maybe in Lyon, if you come to France, what should you try for sure? The food is such diverse depending on the regions and the places and the cities that there are so many things to try. France has really great restaurants, even the small ones. You don't have to go for the big Michelin star, 300 euros courses to eat super well. You have a really a great lot of super nice places to eat anywhere. What should you try? Maybe something that is more from where I'm from. You have to try the aligot with sausages, which is a puree with cheese that's melted inside, and that's oh damn. I'm losing my My words. I love cooking, as a matter of fact. So I should know it. That is stirred. Stirred. Yeah, stir the
Stirred.
pot, obviously. So yeah, this is a cheese puree that is stirred for hours and hours, and that makes huge strings.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
delicious, and it's super chewy, and it goes super well with sausages.
Oh man,
So if you go to south of France, you got to try this, definitely.
that sounds
It's more of a
amazing.
winter. It's more of a winter meal, obviously, but
It's all
try
right.
this one.
That's all right. Just crank up the air conditioning in the house, make you pretend it's winter. You can have it right now, or just wait till winter. That sounds delicious. I'm pretty hungry now, but
Same.
thank you so much again, Enki. We don't have time for Charmer. I'm sure we'll get to him eventually, but everybody, stay